Hi, I'm Nancy Shanto, and I'm going to read to you from Access to Power, a radical approach for changing your life. I was on the radio last night, kvmr.org, with Mary Beth Paul and Catherine Allen, and we were talking about this chapter, Theory of Change. It's not a chapter I wrote, it's a chapter written by Julia Kelleher, my teacher and the author, the primary author of this book. And this is my favorite chapter in the book because it takes change, something that we all want and sometimes don't want to have to deal with, and kind of breaks it down into the steps that we need to do in order to make change, survive change, be compassionate with ourselves throughout the process. So I'm going to read a little bit to you from this section, The Courage to Change, and then I'm going to talk about our habits and how our habits, how we can change those. Okay, great. From the very simplest behavioral habit to the largest life transition, the process by which we influence change is complex, and it is easier said than done. A client of mine, Harry, told me about two small changes he made recently. 7 months ago, he moved into a new house with a much smaller bath and shower stall. He did not have enough space in it to use his scrub brush when he faced the shower nozzle. For months, he struggled. Then one day he turned his body 90 degrees so that he was sideways in the bathtub, and lo and behold, he had arm space to scrub his back. In this same time frame, he had knee surgery. Every time he got in his car, his knee would hurt. This went on for months. As he was helping his elderly mother get into her car, he noticed how she let herself in, butt first, sitting down and then scooping her legs around. He tried it, and now his knee never hurts when he gets into his car. Harry asked me, "Why did it take me so long to make those simple changes?" It's hard to even see our habitual patterns. A new way doesn't occur to us until our awareness of the problem builds enough to feel the motivation to solve the problem. In the shower stall, Harry discovered a solution when his frustration pushed him to try something different. Harry used pain as motivation to try new ways to get into his car, but he also needed to see someone model a new move before he found a way that worked. So here we are trying to make a change in our habits, and we see the thing we're doing that we don't want to do anymore, but we don't necessarily even see it well enough for us to know when and what to do to change. And we have to watch ourselves for what seems like a really long time before the change can emerge. Sometimes it's very easy. We see exactly what we want to do. Sometimes it takes a while just to perceive it. And this process can make us feel terrible, where we think Harry felt like he was stupid for not being able to figure this out. And I'm putting words in his mouth because he didn't say that here. But that's very common, that people will be afraid of confirming that they're stupid somehow, that there's something wrong with them, that they're not thinking clearly, that they're not making good decisions. And those kinds of fears can get in the way of us making the changes we want to make. I was talking about it last night as, we sometimes we want to make a change and we think about what we want to do and we just do it, and the change happens. And those are wonderful changes. They are kind of invisible to us because they were easy. The stuff that we really notice is the changes that are hard, the things that we want to change, but it takes a while. It can take months for us to figure out what we're going to do differently and then to do it differently. And that process, if we don't succeed, if we want to change something but we don't actually succeed in changing it, it can break our hearts. And that can start to congeal into self-doubt and loss of trust, disappointment. And those congealed doubts and lack of trust and disappointment starts to build up, and it gets stuck in our body. And then when we think about making a change, we have to deal with the congealed doubt as well as the change we want to make, and the fact that our awareness isn't 100% yet. And all of that can conspire to keep us from making the change we want, and then we end up with more doubt and more disappointment, more heartbreak. And this book, this chapter, Theory of Change, is really about trying to help us unwind all of that mire, to get out of that stuck feeling, so that we can actually be compassionate with ourselves, understand the change process, understand how long it takes. It takes 300 repetitions to get something into muscle memory, and 3,000 repetitions to change from one thing to another. and we can be patient with the process, and as we're patient with the process, we change. Hope that helps.